So comment below with your landing page questions, and until next time, keep building the business you love. Well, that kind of stinks. I'm an hour late. Today marks day number 3 of waking up at 4:30 a.m. to get started with work at 5. And I would say Monday and Tuesday were extremely productive. I actually wound up being able to just blaze through my videos, but for whatever reason, the landing page tutorial I did today, it's about 8:30 now, and I should be halfway through writing the second video. So I've got to double time it a little bit because team check-ins and a sales call this afternoon are going to give me a little bit of a crunch. But I will say it has been absolutely incredible how much work I've been able to get done as a result of just waking up earlier. And it's kind of weird because obviously I have the unique ability to control most of my day, of course, outside of when I have to talk to other people like team members and clients and potential clients like today. But it's something that's crazy just waking up a couple hours earlier, and it's like I have a whole new perspective on the day. But enough for now because I need to blaze through the next video so I can check in with the team and review all of the content that's coming out next week, because I'm starting to have a propensity of going way too long on videos. You may have, if you've been watching any of the content videos, you'll notice most of them are around the 10 to 15 minute mark, whereas I used to try like a 15-minute video would be super long. But I think that's just part of getting more comfortable being on camera. Well, you know, as comfortable as you can be. I'm rambling, got to get back to work and then prepare for a sales call. And I just barely made it with the second content video of the day, about 2 hours to write and record it. Of course, this week seems to just be a problem with software. It's a story of my life sometimes, where apparently MailChimp has changed their free plan. So I've done a lot of tutorials on this channel about how to essentially get started with your email marketing and sales funnels for free. But apparently MailChimp has removed the ability to auto send emails on their free plan. So it's still in my account because I already did it, but I can't add any emails to any of the demos that I've been showing, which is really frustrating. So I'm actually going to be checking out MailerLite, and then later today I also have to look at ClickFunnels and Kajabi, because if you missed the last vlog, we pretty much did the math and realized that we are spending way too much in development costs to just get a basic funnel to work. But with that, it's time for me to get to team check-ins. It's about 10 o'clock now, and then prep for that sales call. It's at 12:45, and that'll be interesting. I'll actually just do some footage of that to show you what a sales call actually sounds and looks like, because not dropping any names, but there are some other YouTubers who are obviously wildly successful, but the way that they portray sales calls working is total BS. All right, so that could have gone a heck of a lot better. My plan was to actually record parts of the audio of the conversation so I could kind of break it down where I did a good job and where I did a terrible job. I guess I'm kind of lucky that we didn't record this one because I pretty much botched the whole thing, because midway through the conversation, or midway through, about 5 minutes into the conversation, this guy died. It said memory full, even though I literally just deleted all of the photos so that the specifically would not happen. Oh well. Technology issues, right? And then apparently the Camtasia version of Mac doesn't automatically come with the feature to record the system audio. So I wouldn't be able to hear what the other person was saying. Obviously, if I have a sales call, for privacy reasons, I'm not going to put someone else's, name or voice out there. So what I want to share with you now, that I can't actually show you what happened because everything broke. Number one, just don't try and vlog and I guess do a sales call at the same time, because one pays the bills and the other doesn't. I'll let you guess as to which one that is for me. And the 3 things that I always do before a sales call is, number one, I just go through their website and I look to see if anything's broken, and I just look to get a general understanding of what the heck they're trying to accomplish. And of course, I do have some pre-call questions to make sure that they're actually ready to jump on the phone with me, right? And they're not going to freak out when we drop the price at the end of the conversation. The second thing I do is I make sure 5 to 10 minutes before the call, I am completely ready to go. Just relax, like I'm just sitting there waiting for that time to start. And the reason I do that is because of number 3, and this is something I picked up from a sales book that I'm blanking on, but there's lots of sales books out there that probably say something similar to this, and that is to show up for your call right on the hour. So I'll stare at the clock like a little creeper, and then it'll hit the time it's supposed to go, and then I go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I go to 10, and then I hit call. Because if you call right at it, then you look kind of creepy. But if you call 10 or 15 seconds later, a little delay, then your call gets through around the 25 to 30 second mark, and you're still kind of on the nose without being creepy on the nose, even though I'm literally sitting there just like counting, waiting to hit dial. So it is that weird, but it helps you set the tone for the conversation, and it shows the potential client that you do show up on time and you are professional and ready to go. Now, the problem I had with this particular sales conversation was, number 1, I was trying to do something else. I was trying to record while I'm doing the conversation, and so when I hear the beep that the camera stopped, and then I realize that Camtasia won't record, I'm a little frazzled. So that kind of defeats the purpose of 3 deep breaths during those 10 minutes that you're waiting. But something that's interesting is when it comes to a sales conversation, you should be doing as little talking as possible. You're just asking questions and you're learning. So it's pretty much one person, the potential client, is telling you all the stuff that's wrong and everything they want to accomplish. And then you are just listening, digesting. I always have an Evernote open and I'm just typing everything. And there are several times during the conversation where I say, oh, just give me a second, I'm typing, because I want to be able to type it out. And in that way, when I'm prescribing a solution or I'm speaking back, I can actually specifically say, okay, well, what are you going to do? Okay, so you said your goal was, April XY, or I guess April past. So let's say it was July. I'm purposely changing the dates. So let's say, okay, so July 5th, you want to launch this particular product, and by September 15th, you want to, XYZ. It shows just a level of listening in detail that most people aren't used to, because they go, oh, wow, this person's actually listening to me, and they're not just typing on Facebook, like they actually wrote down the dates. And so if you can do that, and naturally, right, you don't want to force it, be like, okay, so you said this, and that. Like, you're not bullet pointing off, repeating like a parrot what they say to them. You do need to integrate it into what you're saying, but it's just one of those things where you want to make sure you're doing less talking, they're doing most of the talking, and you're asking questions that shows that you're ready to go. That was where I completely failed. I blanked on my questions, and I didn't have my questions up because I was trying to fix the camera 30 seconds before I was supposed to do, or I was trying to fix Camtasia 30 seconds before I was trying to do the call. So don't do that. The other thing I wanted to mention is, if you're doing any sort of consulting, I've done videos on this in the past, please don't do hourly rates. Like, hourly rates, pretty much what you're doing is you're saying, I'm willing to be an employee. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. If you want to be an employee, go work someplace, get the benefits, and have all of the awesome benefits of being an employee without the headache of being a freelancer. And so this is something where, on this particular call, towards the end, it was really clear that they were looking for someone who's going to be on an hourly rate. And that's just something that myself and my business partner will not back down on. Now, I get it. A lot of marketing agencies, it's just all about numbers. And so very little goes on in terms of optimization and management. And yeah, that's okay. I have a lot of conversations where people are extremely uncomfortable with a fixed rate because they have no idea how long we're going to take. And so the counter to that is, I always bring up the fact that, okay, well, if your goal is this, or your cost per acquisition needs to be this, well, I think we can hit that in 3 months, 4 months, 2.5 weeks, depending upon where they already are. And so that way our work is directly tied to a result. And so when you can tie your work to a result, the clients are less likely to be really hung up on how much time are you spending. Because there will be those clients where you'll get that result that they want, and they'll be like, well, how much time did it take you? And really, it doesn't matter, right? Because client's paying for a result. So if it takes me 10 hours to get the result, or it takes me 7 hours to get the result, you're still paying for the result. So be happy with the result. Don't get on me because I was 3 hours efficient with my time, which of course is a problem that I faced when I subcontracted for a lot of digital agencies, they'd always just look at my time. And then the more efficient and better I was with my time, the less money I ultimately made. And the less money you'll make as you become more efficient. So definitely steer clear of hourly stuff unless you're literally doing coaching. And like even consulting I've stopped doing just because it's such a hard thing to scale. So that's the lesson learned from the sales call that ultimately completely failed because this guy died, Camtasia died, that's just how it goes. So 10 minutes before, be ready to go, call right on time, take 3 deep breaths, make sure you're up to date with everything that the client has. You speak less than 5% of the conversation, and of course, steer clear of hourly rates because you are an entrepreneur and business owner. You are not a glorified contractor or employee. So with that, it's time for me to decompress a little bit because I'm really frustrated that I screwed up that call so bad and get to actually doing some research on software because it's time to leave WordPress for our funnels. And a few hours of final research later, and it looks like we have two contenders, the top 2 contenders for moving away from WordPress onto a SaaS application for just deploying our sales funnels. And we're looking at Kartra and ClickFunnels as the top 2. And we're not looking at Kajabi because number 1, Kajabi requires you to pay all up front to get a reasonable monthly rate, which is pretty much the same problem you have with anything on WordPress. You have to pay per year. So I'm not really interested in dropping another 300. 3 weeks ago, I dropped $350 on MemberPress, and we're pretty much stuck with it because we're out of the, because it took so long to put together. That 14 days goes by real fast for that refund. Anyway, I digress. And the second reason we're not looking at Kajabi is you actually have to purchase their middle tier option to remove the Kajabi branding, which again is just ridiculous. If I'm paying $130, $140 a month, I shouldn't have to pay another $20 or $30 just to remove branding. That's not saying Kajabi's a bad option. It's just not in our budget in terms of where we are in our business. Spending almost $180 or $200 a month just for sales funnels is a bit much considering the prices of our services and our typical conversion rates on what we get right now. Of course, in the future, that might change. Hopefully it does. So for now, we're looking at ClickFunnels at number 1, Kartra at number 2. And of course, I'm showing you this because I really want to document the process of moving away from WordPress. I know I've been extremely critical of Kartra and ClickFunnels. I'm just starting to see why it works, but my goal is when we switch to have essentially 2 options. If you have $100 or $200 a month to spend, this is the software we use, tutorials on how to use that. If you don't, then we're going to look for some other free or lower tier solutions so that the content on this channel still stays relevant and reasonable for wherever you are in your business. I'm just really not a huge fan of some of the marketing tactics both of those 2 use because it's really hypey and real salesy. And at the end of the day, irrespective of how good the software is, you also have to just keep in mind what kind of company you're dealing with. And I know using EverWebinar in the past, I've been very, very frustrated. Those are the same people that are making Kartra. I've been extremely frustrated with their software. I think I had more problems with stuff made by Marketing Genesis, which is the people behind Kartra, versus the ClickFunnels team or Russell Brunson stuff. So anyway, it's a process. You definitely don't just sit down 2 hours. This is the software to do, right? So with each set of answers, you get more questions. So I'll keep you updated on the search. And of course, I'll do a vlog where I do a comprehensive, here's everything we looked at and why we ultimately chose one of these 2. And if you have a sales funnel option that you really like, go ahead and comment with it below. And I'll definitely check it out and drop a review if I think it's a good option, or something like Converti that continually is suggested to me. I'm just going to say, no, that's overpriced for what they do. You could speed up your site on any landing page builder. If you know what I mean, don't worry about it. Converti's not for you. So until the next video, keep building the business you love.